Good afternoon and welcome to UCEA Google Plus Hangouts on Air. My name is Brian Van Groningen. I'm a graduate research assistant at the UCEA headquarters and a doctoral student at the University of Virginia. I'm here today to interview W. Kyle Ingle as part of his candidacy for the UCEA Executive Committee. Today, listeners will be hearing from Kyle Ingle, who is an associate professor in the Department of Leadership, Foundations, and Human Resource Education at the University of Louisville. His research interests include human resource functions in education, the politics of education, and economic evaluations of education. Welcome, Dr. Ingle.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So we're going to begin today with the first question. So if you would just please tell us about your background and your scholarship as it relates to leadership preparation and practice.
Okay. Well, originally I majored in history and minored in secondary education as an undergraduate at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg. After I earned my degree and my licensure, I worked as a social studies teacher in the Jackson County School District in the state of Mississippi. I worked on my master's degree part-time at the same institution, Southern Miss. My thesis examined the historical development of systemic education reform efforts in the United States and the United Kingdom. After I earned my master's degree, I continued to work in the Jackson County School District as a department chair, a member of the leadership team, and a coordinator for the beginning teacher mentoring program. I left employment in the district in 2002, began my doctoral studies at Florida State University. I graduated in 2007 and went straight to Bowling Green State University as an assistant professor. I earned tenure and promotion in spring of 2013, but in the fall of 2014, I was appointed I was recruited to go to University of Louisville as associate professor. Here I serve as a program director of the EDD and EDS programs in educational administration. And like you said in the introduction, my research focuses on human resource functions in education, specifically teacher hiring and evaluation. I've also done some work on the politics of education, examining school levy campaigns, success, and trying to figure out what sort of factors are associated with success on levies. And I've done some analysis of collective bargaining agreements. I currently serve on editorial boards of Journal of Education Finance, the Journal of School Leadership, and I'm also active in the Politics of Education Association.
Excellent. Thank you very much. For our second question, so you've served for several years as a plenary session representative, or PSR. So if you just tell us about your engagement in UCEA's governance.
Sure. Well, when I went up to Bowling Green State University, the institution was a partner member. And so I was, one of the things that I did when I went there was to chair BGSU's membership committee. Did that right when I arrived at the institution. We were able to attain full institutional membership in 2009. It's something that I'm very, very proud of. To seeing that all the way through was, as you can imagine, a huge relief to hear the positive outcome when they told us that. It was a lot of work, and it gave me some insight into the membership process for UCEA. I've also served on the UCEA Task Force on Distance Learning, and have been on 2 award selections committees thus far. Oh, and I'm the PSR for U of L now. So just recently took that position, was appointed to that position in fall of 2015.
Excellent, thank you. For our third question, so in what other ways have you been engaged with UCEA outside of what you discussed in the previous question?
Sure. Well, one of the primary means of service to UCEA is I've been associated with the William L. Boyd National Education Politics Workshop ever since it began in 2008. This event is a 3-hour workshop that is held in conjunction with AERA each year. Dana Mitra of Penn State and I serve as the fellow co-coordinators of this event, and she's an absolute joy to work with. I represent UCEA in the coordination of this event. The event gives graduate students an opportunity to network with faculty and to learn about current and promising educational research on the politics of education. I also serve on the editorial board of the UCEA Review. I'm responsible for the point counterpoint section of that publication.
Okay. For our fourth question, so just discuss with us your scholarship, research projects, teaching, and/or service that you believe can inform the work of UCEA, and particularly the work of the executive committee.
Okay. Well, I continue to focus on the same lines of inquiry, human resource functions in education, and the politics of education. Now that I've moved to Kentucky, I spend a little bit less time on the levy campaigns because the school finances, they don't do levy campaigns nearly like they did in Ohio. Back in summer 2013, I traveled to Belize in Central America for a research study. I did some interviews with Ministry of Education officials, faculty and administrators from the University of Belize, and some general managers from Belizean schools. With the move from Ohio to Kentucky, that project didn't get to spend a whole lot of time on the research stuff, and I finally picked that up, and I'm presenting at UCEA in San Diego on that, using that data. The whole point, though, is to continue to explore that. We're going to pilot a survey with general managers and principals and other stakeholder groups in Belize, planning to go this summer. And then we're going to roll out, if everything works out the way I want, roll out the survey across the whole country to the general managers and principals there. Basically trying to understand what sort of characteristics that that general managers and principals are looking for when they hire teachers, and how do they gauge those. What else can I tell you? I'm also involved in some research that examines the impact of changes in teacher evaluation law on collective bargaining agreements in Kentucky. I'm still doing some work on collective bargaining agreements in Ohio. Also presenting at UCEA on a paper there. It's a quantitative paper on collective bargaining agreements. A U of L colleague and I were recently awarded a Kentucky Department of Education grant to undertake a 2-year program evaluation of math curriculum interventions being implemented in multiple member districts in the Ohio Valley Education Consortium in Kentucky, which is a group of school districts primarily in the greater Louisville area, but they're outside of Jefferson County. So that's something that I'm also doing as well.
All righty, thank you. And for our final question, just we're curious, share the reasons why you have chosen to run for the executive committee and what your vision is for the future of UCEA.
Well, I think this is maybe the 4th time I've been nominated, so I'm hoping the 4th time is going to be the charm. It's in many ways, it's a personal challenge for me to actually win one of these elections one of these days. But I'm, regardless of the outcome, I'm honored to be nominated, and I feel like I'm in very good company with the other nominees. Their research and professional work I'm very familiar with. So whoever wins, you're going to get some good people no matter what. If elected, I will do my best to ensure that UCA continues to pursue its primary goal, which is to advance the preparation and practice of educational leaders for the benefit of school and children. Given my involvement with mentoring of new professors and emerging scholars through the Boyd Workshop, I would continue my support for events such as this, the Boyd Workshop, the Clark Seminar, and the Jackson Scholars Program. These are all proactive programs that UCEA is doing to meet its goals and objectives. So I'm going to continue to support those. But just those are my reasons. I'm honored to be nominated, and hope I'm successful, and I promise to do a good job if I'm elected.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and thoughtful responses, Dr. Ingle. So this interview will be archived on the UCEA Google Plus page and the UCEA YouTube channel. Listeners can access or share the interview at any time. And we also encourage listeners to post comments and questions on this interview on the comments page on the UCEA Google Plus page. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, sir.